I used to think hotel horror stories were exaggerated. I'd heard people talk about strange noises, shadows in hallways, or rooms that felt off. I always assumed there was a logical explanation. Old buildings make sounds. Tired minds imagine things. Fear fills in the blanks. That belief lasted until the night I stayed in room 417. I wasn't supposed to be there long, just one night. One cheap hotel near the highway on my way to another city for work. I checked in late, around 11 at night, exhausted and eager to sleep. The hotel looked ordinary enough, old but clean. The kind of place that relied on passing travelers rather than repeat guests. The lobby smelled faintly of cleaning solution and stale air. The man at the front desk barely looked at me as he handed over the key card. When he told me the room number, his hand hesitated slightly. "4th floor," he said, "end of the hall." I didn't think much of it at the time. The elevator was slow and rattled as it climbed. When the doors opened on the 4th floor, I was met with a long, narrow hallway lit by dim yellow lights. The carpet was patterned and worn thin in places, like it had absorbed years of footsteps. Room 417 was at the very end. No neighboring doors on one side, just a blank wall. That was the first thing that made me uncomfortable, though I didn't realize it yet. The room itself looked normal. A single bed, a desk, a small TV bolted to the wall. The bathroom light flickered briefly before stabilizing. I locked the door, tossed my bag onto the chair, and sat down on the bed. That's when I noticed the silence. Not quiet. Silence. No distant traffic noise. No muffled voices from other rooms. No humming from the air conditioner. It felt sealed off. I turned on the TV just to have some background noise. Static filled the screen for a moment before a late-night infomercial appeared. The sound felt too loud in the stillness, so I turned it down and lay back. That's when I noticed the mirror. It wasn't positioned like hotel mirrors usually are. Instead of being above the desk or inside the bathroom, it was mounted on the wall directly across from the bed. Large, rectangular, slightly tilted downward. Facing me. I remember thinking it was an odd design choice, but exhaustion won. I closed my eyes. I don't know how long I slept. I woke up to the feeling that someone was in the room. You know that instinctive sense you get sometimes before you can explain it. The sudden awareness, the tightening in your chest. My eyes snapped open. The TV was off. The room was dark, lit only by the faint glow of the digital clock beside the bed. It read 2:14 a.m. I listened. Nothing. No breathing, no movement. I exhaled slowly and told myself I'd had a nightmare. That's when I noticed my reflection. The mirror across from the bed caught just enough light for me to see myself lying there. My face looked pale and tired, eyes wide open. But something was wrong. My reflection wasn't blinking. I stared at it confused. I blinked once. Twice. My reflection didn't move. It just lay there, eyes open, staring straight ahead. My heart began to pound. I sat up slowly, never taking my eyes off the mirror. The reflection sat up too, perfectly in sync. Relief washed over me, quickly followed by embarrassment. I told myself it had just been a trick of the lighting, a half dream. I turned away and reached for the lamp. Before I could turn it on, I heard something. A soft sound, like fabric shifting. I froze. The sound didn't come from the hallway. It came from inside the room. From behind me. I turned back toward the bed. The mirror now showed something new. The reflection of the bed was still there. But my reflection was. Instead, something else lay in its place. It was shaped like a person, but wrong in subtle ways. Too thin, too long. Its limbs rested stiffly at its sides and its head was turned slightly toward the mirror. Toward me. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. Slowly, the thing in the mirror sat up. Its movements were stiff, delayed, like it was learning how to use its body. Its face was smooth and pale, with features that looked copied rather than formed. Its eyes met mine, and it smiled. Not wide, just enough. I stumbled backward and hit the wall, breaking eye contact. When I looked back, the mirror showed only my empty bed. I turned every light on in the room. Nothing was there. I didn't sleep again. I sat on the edge of the bed until morning, watching the mirror, waiting for something to move. Nothing did. At sunrise, I packed my bag and went downstairs to check out early. The man at the front desk looked surprised when he saw me. "Checking out already?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "There was something wrong with my room." He nodded slowly, like he'd expected that answer. "Room 417, he asked. I didn't respond. He sighed and looked down at the desk. "You're the first one this month," he said quietly. I asked him what he meant. He didn't answer. He just took the key card and slid it into a drawer beneath the counter, one that already held several identical cards. That should have been the end of it. It was, because when I got home that night, I noticed something strange about my bedroom mirror. It was tilted slightly downward, facing my bed. I stood in my bedroom for a long time, staring at the mirror. I knew it hadn't been like that before. I was sure of it. I'd lived in that apartment for nearly 3 years. I knew where everything was. The mirror had always hung straight, centered above the dresser. Now it was angled slightly downward, toward my bed. I told myself I was being paranoid. After what I'd experienced at the hotel, my mind was looking for patterns that weren't there. I reached out, adjusted the mirror until it was level and stepped back. Normal again. I went to bed. Sleep didn't come easily. Every time I closed my eyes, I pictured that thing in the hotel mirror. The way it had smiled. The way it had moved like it was copying something it didn't fully understand. At some point, exhaustion took over. I woke up just before dawn, heart racing, convinced something had pulled me out of a dream. The room was dim. Early morning light crept through the blinds. I turned my head toward the dresser. The mirror was tilted again. More than before. I sat up slowly, my chest tightening. I hadn't touched it. I stood, crossed the room, and straightened it a second time. My hands were shaking now. I checked the screws, the mount, even pressed against the wall to see if it was loose. It was solid. There was no reason for it to move. I covered the mirror with a towel and went to work. That day passed in a fog. I replayed the hotel night over and over, trying to rationalize it. Stress, lack of sleep, a half-dream state. Mirrors played tricks on people all the time. That night I came home late. The towel was on the floor. The mirror was uncovered and tilted farther downward than before. I felt sick. I picked up the towel and stared at my reflection. I looked normal, tired maybe, pale but normal. Then I noticed something small. My reflection blinked a fraction of a second too late. It was subtle, almost nothing. But once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. I stepped closer to the mirror. So did my reflection. I raised my hand. It raised its hand. But the movement felt delayed, like it was following a signal rather than matching me naturally. I stepped back. The reflection stepped back, but its eyes didn't leave mine. That's when I heard the sound. A faint shift, like fabric moving. Behind me, I spun around. Nothing. My bedroom was empty. When I turned back to the mirror, my reflection was smiling. I was. The smile was wrong, too tight, too deliberate, like it was stretching muscles that didn't quite belong to it. I covered the mirror again and didn't sleep in my bedroom that night. Over the next few days, things got worse. Any reflective surface started to feel wrong. Bathroom mirror, microwave door, dark windows at night. Sometimes I'd catch my reflection standing a moment longer than it should. Sometimes it would look away just before I did. I stopped looking at mirrors altogether. I called the hotel. I didn't expect them to answer my questions. I told the man at the front desk my room number. There was a long pause on the line. Then he asked me when I'd stayed. When I told him, he sighed. "You saw it, didn't you?" he said quietly. I asked him what he meant. Another pause. "We don't rent that room anymore," he said, "not officially." I asked him why. He didn't answer right away. Finally, he told me. Years ago, a guest had been found dead in room 417. No signs of forced entry, no injuries, no cause of death they could determine. The only strange detail was the mirror. It had been found shattered on the floor, as if something had hit it from the inside. After that, guests complained, said their reflections moved on their own, said they woke up to someone sitting on the bed, but only in the mirror. People stopped staying in the room. But sometimes when the hotel was full, management rented it anyway. I asked him why it followed me. He didn't answer that either. He just said, once it notices you noticing it, it doesn't like to be ignored. That night, I decided to get rid of the mirror. I took it off the wall and carried it out to the dumpster behind my building. I didn't look at it while I did. I couldn't. The glass cracked as it hit the bottom. I felt immediate relief. I went back inside and slept for the first time in days. When I woke up, my bedroom wall was empty. No mirror, no towel, nothing. I thought it was over, until I walked into the bathroom. The mirror above the sink was tilted downward, facing the doorway, facing where I stood. My reflection was already there, smiling. I understood then. It wasn't attached to the mirror. The mirror was just how it looked back. Now I avoid reflective surfaces as much as I can. I keep lights off at night. I cover screens. I shower with my eyes closed. Because sometimes, when the room is dark and quiet, I feel it standing behind me, waiting for me to look. And I know that one day, I won't be able to resist.